Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's talk with Erika. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel and all of my audio podcasts. It's wonderful to have you here with me and another Monday here. I also happen to have, by the way, the new mobile app on Android and iOS, as well as new website, todaystalkwitherica.com. So I'm happy to report that to you. Check it out and definitely let me know what you think. I've got a whole lot of podcasts and now a new blog section as well. So today I have a fantastic guest, that is, Dylan Campbell, a.k.a. Achileez, has made a name for himself in the music industry. He refers to himself as your favorite one-armed rapper. Born without his right arm, he's as talented and independent as other famous people known today who are successful without limbs or missing one of their five senses. Now, Dylan, I went through your website and your media kit and your music, and I came across a couple of sentences. I don't find myself to be an inspiration. I find myself to be like every single one of you is what I found. And I thought, thing is, you are an inspiration. You are just like everyone else in the world doing your thing, being successful, but you are an inspiration. So Dylan, welcome to today's Talk with Erika. Talk to me about when did you realize you wanted to start in music? Let's go through that.
Well, first off, I don't know if I can live up to the intro that you just gave me. I'm not sure if I'm that amazing.
I think you are.
I appreciate it. As far as music, I mean, I've been around music my whole life. My dad has been doing music since before I was born, and I wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. Literally nothing to do with it until I was probably about 2021. My son had just been born, and one of my friends came to me and said, "Hey, I know that you used to do poetry back when you were younger, and that's all I ever dabbled in was poetry. And I was wondering if you want to get into music." And I said, "Oh, why not? Let's give it a try. I have, not a lot of free time on my hand here, with a newborn screaming and crying all night. But let me see what I can do with music." And I did, and I have yet to look back since.
That's too cool. I have a similar story, and I'm going to write a book eventually about that, but a similar story in the sense that my father obviously is in the same, broadcasting, video production, and I wanted nothing to do with it and went into it. But the show is about you. So,
no, but I mean, please tell me more.
But being a rapper, so let's start there because I assume going from poetry, because I was going to ask why rap, but this makes sense because rap is all about poetry. So that makes sense.
And at this point in time, I've kind of changed a little bit. I started off solely rap. And I was part of a group for a little while. And my partner, who now goes by the name Yeshua, he was a little bit more musical than I was. And when the group split, I realized that I had to learn that musical element, what it takes to make a proper hook, especially the way music goes today. I think a lot of it revolves around melody and harmony. And so it took me a while, but now I dabble in singing a little bit as well. So I no longer just like to refer to myself as a rapper. I prefer entertainer. I think there's a negative connotation that comes with saying that you're a rapper. And I feel that I do a little bit more than just rap. I feel that it's a package deal. It's rapping, it's singing, it's songwriting. So it's more of an entertainment type of situation.
That's so true. You have a wonderful voice. Your father should have you in voiceover, by the way.
I appreciate it. I was actually going to say the same thing to you. When you started with the intro, I was immediately enamored. I said, "Wow, this is a beautiful voice."
Well, that's what I do, but thank you. I went and ran with it.
There you go.
We knew each other about 20 years ago. I don't know if you remember this. I think I'm a little older. When I first met your father, Brian Campbell, he was my teacher at the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. Your dad is an amazing human being. He's really helped me with this podcast and a whole lot of other things, giving me some voiceover work and stuff with his company. Now, his company, Skyhawk Media, airs today's Talk with Erika on skyhawkradiolive.com. My show airs Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Talk Radio channel, and your show comes on after me at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's the Indie Artist Showcase. Tell us about that.
So it's technically, I fly back and forth between Florida and California. So when I'm in California, I do the show along with my brother. And it's fun. We kind of just review a lot of indie artists. We go through their music, a little bit of reviews. I'm a harsh critic. So my dad is constantly telling me that I need to tone it down a little bit because I don't go easy on them. And I'm sure nobody has an ugly baby, so nobody likes to hear that I don't like their music. But we kind of just we get into some of the music that we hear, some of the music that my brother likes because he's a little bit younger than I am. So we have very different taste when it comes to music, especially because I do music. So for me, I'm hypercritical. For him, he's coming from a fan aspect, a listener aspect. I'm coming from an artist aspect. So it kind of makes for a fun show, especially because we never ever agree. It's very, very rare that we agree on the music. And then every once in a while, my dad will get in there and he'll, I think he uses the pseudonym, The Architect is what he calls himself on this show. So he'll come on and he'll provide like a third aspect from somebody that's, older than I am, that listens to much older music. So it's a cool dynamic.
That's awesome. Your younger brother, though, he has his own podcast, right?
He does. So I do the Indie Artist Showcase with him. And then, he does the Indie Artist Showcase, and I believe he does one more. I know he was looking to hopefully start doing one that has to do with music videos as well.
Awesome. It's like a whole family affair. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, all right. So getting back into your music, though, I wouldn't bring this up, obviously, but you market yourself. I noticed when I get on your website, you market yourself as a one-armed rapper. You embrace this and it's become a part of your music and you do just fine. But what are some of your obstacles? Because you were born like that. It's not something that just happens. So you do just fine. But I did notice that that's how you market yourself.
And it's taken me a long time I don't want to say accept it, because I was born like this. It's something that I know no different. So it's never, I wouldn't say that it's really been an obstacle. I mean, for other people, I think they look at it and go, oh man, I could never do something like that. But for me, it's all I know. The issue was for me that I didn't want people to pay attention to the fact that I had one hand. I didn't want that to be my selling point. And as I got older, I started to realize that those are the things that you have to kind of run with. It's I don't want to call it a niche market, but it's people gravitate towards it. It has nothing to do with my voice. It has very little to do with the music that I make. I mean, I mentioned it in some of my songs, but it doesn't have a direct effect on the music I make. But people do describe me as, a one-armed rapper. Like, have you heard of that one-armed rapper? Like it makes a difference. It doesn't really make a difference. But when I started to realize that that's how people describe me, I said, you know what, I might as well take this and run with it. It's a marketing tactic. And, it's worked for me so far. So I feel, I guess I made the right decision in that aspect.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't slow you down. You're doing the exact same thing as any of these, larger rappers, I should say, are doing. It doesn't slow you down one bit.
I appreciate it. No, I try not to let it.
Yeah, you've got, on your homepage, by the way, I love that. Is it called The Breakfast Club? Yes, that's fantastic. I was watching that. That's a fun music video.
When we shot it during quarantine in my house.
Oh, it was during quarantine.
So we couldn't do it. I wanted to do a much bigger production for it. I wanted it to be because I shot it in my apartment. I wanted, hopefully rent out a space for it and kind of go crazy. And I figured everybody's sitting home for quarantine. Everybody's got all this extra time, as do I. So I said, let's figure out what we're going to do. And my dad came to me, he said, I think you should shoot the video in your house. I said, you know what, out of all the videos that I have, or all the songs that I have, I think this is probably the one video that we might be able to make work just inside my apartment. So I bought all the ingredients that I needed, and I made a huge mess. I mean, I had Cheerios and eggs and bacon. I threw food everywhere.
I noticed.
Champagne everywhere. The cleanup was the worst part of the video. I mean, I had so much fun doing the video. The cleanup sucked. Absolutely sucked.
I'm happy that no one lost an eye. I saw the very end.
At the very end.
Yeah.
I almost did. I had to have one arm and one eye. I don't know if I can handle that.
That's awful. Oh my goodness, but that was pretty funny. We all love bloopers, right? Love bloopers. I should leave some of my bloopers in here. Oh my goodness.
It's always good. The people love it.
Have you come up with anything else? It's so funny because in all of my interviews, or most of them, we talk about things that have come out of quarantine, hence this podcast. When I started thinking, well, what on earth can I do? And this was born. So it's funny that, so many people found their creative niche. Although you were already doing something, now you've got a new music video made out of quarantine. Did you do anything else? You got any new music? What else is going on during quarantine?
I think it's it's a bit of a catch-22 because I already consider myself a creative. Um, Going through quarantine where you have this time frame where you're pretty much stuck at home, you tend to kind of just succumb to the pressures around you. Like, oh my God, I don't have anything else going on. And you sometimes lose that little bit of creative edge. And I found that the longer that I sat in quarantine, the less I wrote. So truthfully, I probably have only written a few things to where I was writing something 2-3 times a week. During an entire 4 or 5 month span, I've maybe done 3 things. So it's hard to say. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still love writing music. It's always, that's the be all end all for me. But given that now things are just starting to open back up for me, and I can kind of get back out there and live life a little bit, because I write most of my music based on experiences. So when you don't have
That's
as
the
many
best.
experiences to go, right, exactly. And when you don't have as much experience to go off of, and you're pretty much just stuck in one place, you're kind of at a loss of creative juice for a little bit. So I took the time in quarantine to really focus on just being a better me in general. I've been working out a lot. So I post a lot of workout videos along with music and everything as well. So I kind of do both. I want to be an all-around brand.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So I know that I also noticed on your website that you had tour dates. Now that's all been canceled. When are you coming
Right.
back? What can fans expect?
It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. Because I do spend a lot of my time flying back and forth between Florida and California. It depends on when I'm going back. Right now I'm here. My son is here. So, and he's doing the whole virtual school thing. It's kind of crazy. So I'd like to go back sometime within the next couple months, at least get back up to flying back and forth regularly so that I can do more shows. I did most of my shows out there. I haven't done a lot of shows out here in a while. I do every year participate in something called Funclusion, which is a show for individuals with disabilities. I do that. It's usually in October, so I'll probably be doing that again this year as long as they green light it, given obviously coronavirus. So hopefully that happens and I can do that show while I'm here, and then look to start doing some shows again when I go back to California.
That's perfect. Awesome. Hey, where can people find you? Give me your website. What social media pages are
So
you on?
website, Achileez.com. So it's Achileez.com. My Instagram's a little bit harder. Everybody yells at me, says I should just change it to Achileez. But I have my Instagram as Till It Kills Me. So it's TILIT_KILZ_me, M-E. And because my nickname, although my stage name is Achileez, everybody calls me Kills. So I figured it would be kind of like a nice little play on words to say, I'll do this until it kills me. So
Kills, Kilz. I like that.
yep, KILZ.
That's cool. Am I missing anything? What else would you like to add? You got any other stuff happening?
Any other stuff? Look, I'm hopefully, my dad is on my case about this. Because you said you like him, I guess I'll keep him around. But he's on my case to start streaming, playing video games, just to kind of once again add to the brand. I play a lot of video games. My son plays video games, so we play Call of Duty. My dad plays Call of Duty every night.
Yes, I get told that if I call on a Sunday, he tells me that it's Call of Duty night, and I need to call back Monday. And I'm thinking maybe I should join you.
Don't let him lie to you. Every night is Call of Duty night. It's not just Sundays. We get on
awesome.
We get on every single day. It's 3 generations. It's my son, me, him. So it's a great time, and I'm pretty good. So he's on my case. We need to start streaming. And like I said, just to kind of build a bigger brand. I want to do bigger and better things this year. So we'll see.
That's awesome. What studios do you use over in California? You with your father, or you've got you have representation, I assume, over there, no?
Well, my dad, it's kind of pretty much a homegrown thing. So it's just him and I kind of making it work. So I know that he has a couple connections out there. So when we can record at studios, we can. We can also record at the house. He has a mobile studio that we can record in. And then when I'm here, I record usually at a place called DB Studios in Boynton Beach. I have an engineer out here, super, super awesome engineer, really, really good. And then one of my friends also has a studio. My old partner, Yeshua, has a studio in his house that I use sometimes to cut scratch vocals, to kind of give me a stencil on things before I go into the studio and recut everything. So, got my fair share of places to make sure I at least get my music going. So
I love it. You got a bunch of resources, which is fantastic. It
Absolutely.
helps all of us.
I'm a
What
good
would you,
team.
yeah, well, I'm going to end on this because I think this is perfect. What advice would you give young folks wanting to get into this? What advice would you give really anyone, to be honest with you? I might want to rap. I'm just saying.
I can help. I can help.
Yeah, but I mean, because sometimes people, for instance, podcasting, I have a lot of people ask me, how do you start that? I kind of started it out of, like shoelaces and glue. You know what I mean? It's just
Right.
kind of like you just start it. So sometimes that's tough, but where would you tell people to begin?
I mean, we're in an age of social media. It's a digital empire out there. The amount of people that are discovered off of things like Instagram and TikTok, and I mean, the biggest thing is I tell anybody, don't give up. Don't be discouraged, especially because the industry is so oversaturated. But you literally never know when it's your time. And sometimes it just takes that one song. A lot of people are stuck like, I don't know if I should release this. I don't know if it's good enough. And sometimes it's just a matter of doing it anyways. Like you asked me about Breakfast Club earlier, and we'd been sitting on that song for 3 years maybe. And it was just kind of like, you know what? We already have it recorded. Let's just throw a video out there. And we did. And I mean, with great feedback, we've gotten a ton of love on the video. So it's just, sometimes you got to go for it. Just reach for the stars. You're only getting older every day. So just follow your dreams.
I love that. That is so very, very true. Don't be discouraged because someone's bad day may be a good day down the road.
Right.
You never know.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Words from the wise here, Dylan Campbell. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm that wise, but.
Thank you very much for being with me. This was fantastic. I'll be talking to you soon, and your dad, of course, I have to talk to daily. So
I'm sorry for you.
No, it's been wonderful. He's really been a true help in everything I've done, and I'm going to refer a lot of people to him who'd like to start a podcast of their own. Hint, hint, wink, wink. All right.
We call that a shameless plug.
There you go. I love it. All right, Dylan, thank you very, very much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
You too. I appreciate you for having me.
Thanks for listening to today's Talk with Erika. Join me next week for another discussion with the experts who help make life easier. Please visit my website, erikadelsordo.com, where you'll find all of my social media platforms and more. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once again, thanks for listening.